Now, we all know UPSC is a written examination. There's no escape because in government everything moves on files. So your job fitness is tested. How good are you on a piece of paper? How sequential are you? How intelligent are you in terms of writing? And that should be presented in what various presentations. Because as we are going to deal with various stakeholders, our writing should be having variety. Because if you are submitting any reports, if you are submitting what any noting, if you are submitting what anything in written form, it should be having a combination of presentations. A point format, a paragraph format, maybe a picture, maybe a diagram, maybe a flow chart, maybe a table. All these are required to add variety for the stakeholders to go through, and that enriches your writing. Because when we are dealing with n number of stakeholders, they have different IQ levels, they have got different understanding level, and also the time paucity is there with most of the people. So certain people will be very good in terms of what picking up your what pictographic representation. Certain people will be have the more patience to go through the paragraphs also. Certain people picking up the quick points, yes, or the bullet points. So hence we should be representing the things in what different manner. Even if all these things are included in one answer, let us include the entire variety in one answer. Even the examiner will be highly impressed to show to see your variety, because examiner will be knowing you know different methods of explanation. So that is a hugely positive side for you, yes, in terms of becoming job fit as per the examination. So let's see. So expected inputs and an effective answer. Yes. So there are two types of questions being asked. One is a 10 marker, second is a 15 marker. So 10 marker is of 200 words and 15 marker is of 250 words. So first of all, in all the answers, one thing is definitely required, that is a good introduction. Because introduction is going to open up the content. Yes. Introduction is going to open up the door, yes, for the entire thing to be processed. So here, when I talk about introduction, so introduction should be, yes, for building the linkage with the background as well as the current scenario. So depending on the nature of the question. So in history, the most of the questions will be having linkage with the background. And when you talk about other questions, maybe the polity, the economy, maybe having the linkage with the past also and the current scenario also. Yeah. So that means introductions for context building, that is a linkage with background and current scenario. So that should be there definitely. Now should be most appropriate and crisp. Hence it is going to set the flow of the answer. Now, what should be the lines or number of lines that you should be using in introduction? So 3 to 4 lines in the 200 word answer and 5 to 6 line in the 250 word answer. So 3 to 4 lines and 5 to 6. Now a good introduction will be fetching you what around 1 marker in your 10 mark question, and 2 marks, maximum 2 marks in your 15 marks question. Yes, a good introduction. Now the introduction will now lead to focus on the keywords. Yes, focus on the keywords of the question. Now you should be focusing on the keywords, highlighting the keywords in such a manner that the examiner is going to follow your writing. Yes. Now see, you have to carry the examiner with yourself. Yes. So here, so stick to the keywords in the question. So whenever the question is there, you need to underline the keywords in the question. And when you are going to explain the keywords after introduction, you can write the keywords separately and then begin explanation. Because now the examiner will be knowing that you are going to directly address the keywords, and hence the explanation should be matching the keywords. So write keywords and now demand of the question as indicators to the examiner. This will also be helping you not to digress from the question or digress from the main points of the keywords. So you should also be knowing which are the keywords, and accordingly you should also be framing the answer. So do not digress. Now, so that means when you highlighted keywords, again this can fetch you half a mark. The keywords identified. Now presentation, yes. So presentation need a balance. So I always talk about that balance. For example, a master chef, yes. When you are preparing a recipe, so recipe, all the ingredients, the taste will only come out when there's a proper balance of the ingredients, and not only the taste, yes, but also the presentation. The beauty of the dish should also be visible. So similarly here, you need a balance, yes. As a master chef, focus both on the sequencing, proper sequencing, presentation, and quality. So 3 things should be there in your answer: proper sequence, variety of presentation, and maintaining the quality throughout. Now, this type of what sequencing right from the start till the end may fetch you additional 1 mark. That means your answer was properly sequenced. Yes? That means there's a no break in sequence. You are not confused because the sequence is being maintained. That means you have got a proper plan how to write. Now, presentation. I was talking about presentation, we should be balanced. Now, what can be the presentation types? Now, presentation types can be a flow chart. Yes. Now, for example, when you are going to, for example, if any keyword has got various things to be explained or various connecting what information to be put. So let us first of all draw a flow chart, okay, a simple flow chart. And when the flow chart has been done, then start explaining the flow chart maybe in bullet points or the paragraphs. More the points, so hence the bullet points, lesser number of points than the paragraphs. So depending upon the nature of the question, depending upon the number of points that you can generate, so you have to decide whether to write in the bullet points or in the paragraphs. So here, so flow chart. So flow chart for a neat summary. So again, a flow chart is going to indicate, yes, the range of the answer. So flow chart will be indicating the range of the answer. The range of the answer. So hence, so again, this can also attract maybe additional 1 mark or 1.5 marks. Now, so flow chart now to be explained in the form of paragraphs and sentences. If the points are 3 and 4 major, so convert them into paragraphs. If there are multiple points, 8 to 10 points or more than 5 points, so use more bullet points for putting more facts, more information. So combination of paragraph and what bullet points should be used. Now, other possibilities which you can add on. For example, if the question is on what comparative analysis. So comparative analysis of anything. So comparison can be best brought out by using a table. So table for comparison if possible. So properly create a table and show the comparison. So comparison between Neolithic age or the Mesolithic age. Yes, so please properly show the comparison. So now the table for comparison. Now further, so diagram if possible. So if there is a possibility of diagram, so possibility of diagram increases. So for example, when talk about polity, the diagram can be flow chart. For polity, the flow chart can be a diagram. But when you talk about geography and history, the diagram can be maybe a temple structure in maybe history. Geography, it can be a landscape. Okay, you can draw a diagram. Now, again in what history and geography, you can also draw maps. Okay, so maps are important. So diagrams and maps, if they are possible, so always try to include. Now, if in any question, maps, diagrams are not possible, then rely on paragraphs and bullet points only. Yeah, so there's no need to unnecessarily draw a diagram or unnecessarily draw a map. Yes, possibilities arise by seeing the nature of the question. So wherever there's a possibility, always put a map and a diagram, and that's why you should be practicing what drawing fast maps and faster diagrams. So I told you for rest of the economy, your polity, okay, and other maybe even Indian society or economy or science, you can use flow charts as diagram. Flow charts as diagram. Now, so all these are good. Now, for example, I have written maps if possible, diagrams if possible, and I've shown what possible marks that you can attract. If this is not a possibility, then these marks that I am showing here will be added in your bullet points and the paragraphs what you're writing in text. Now further, in your entire write-up, you should be having what use of proper sentences, right use of tenses. Yes, this is the thing that I am finding a little problematic with 1 or 2 students. Many times they are not using the past tense properly. Yes, the past tense properly should properly be used. So right use of tenses, commas, semicolons and full stops. So that means proper use of grammar, proper use of punctuation also fetch what? Additional 1 mark. Now handwriting should be legible, should not be beautiful. If you are going to beautify your writing in examination, you will not be able to complete the paper. So hence the examination writing should be legible. So the examiner is not going to bang his or her head, yes, so as to what scrutinize what you have written. If you are forcing the examiner to bang their head, So that means they will not be giving you marks, yes, because nobody wants to get troubled, yes. Okay, so try to ease the life of the examiner also. So handwriting should be not be beautiful, but should be readable, and there should be a proper conclusion. And conclusion should always have a way forward. Yes. So way forward means showing the way forward in terms of, so introduction, introduced, explained, and finally the takeaway. That is the way forward. So that means that should be there. So all these can be the range of marks that you can generate in a 10 marker or a 15 marker. Now, and the word limit is very, very important. But at this moment, I have asked the students not to stick to the word limit, because what I want to say is the standard, the quality of answer which is going to improve. And that is improving very, very fast. So initially 2 or 3 students were able to contribute good answers. Now whatever the contribution come from 8 to 9 students, the answers quality is rising. Yes. So that means this is a very good effort. That means all have the potential to write good answers. Okay. Now, so whenever as we progress with the writing or writing practice more and more, gradually when the test will be starting, and test will majorly be done after the prelims examination, the mains test, and then you should be sticking to the writing according to the word limit. Yes. Till that time, just focus on how to create good answers on different themes and issues. So as we have just started with the history answers, so we are going to discuss the history answers first, as we are going to take up the polity answers, then the polity, similarly economy. So we are going to take what different variety of answers as we progress. And the unconventional answers I will also be giving you. Unconventional, which there is no theory at all. Okay, you have to decide and randomly put your questions, put your answers there itself by thinking from your knowledge, from your observations. So unconventional ones. So all these will be the build-up exercise. So at this moment, just frame a good answer according to the standards that we have demarcated. Overall word limit should be, when we talk about word limit, so minus 10 and plus 10 should be the range in terms of word limit. Now, if the word limit is reduced more than minus 10, this clearly means you are lacking in content. Now, if it is overshooting the word limit plus more than plus 10, that means you are consuming too much of words to explain a particular thing. Yes. And see, the best writing is that, or the best speaking is that, which consumes less words with larger meanings. Okay, so that is an art. Very clear? So this is the way you are going to generate. Yes. Now on this note, let us see some of the answers written. Now, give an account of the art and religion during Satavahanas. So now the keywords. So what we are going to talk about, art and religion in a time of Satavahanas. So now, first of all, we have to explain, okay, who were these Satavahanas. So we have to introduce the Satavahanas first, and then Satavahanas, art and religion. So Satavahanas were one of the direct successors of Mauryas in the Deccan. So that means they emerged as a successor dynasty to the Mauryas in the Deccan part. So they are mentioned as Andhras in the Puranas. So that means the source, that is the source has been mentioned from where these Satavahanas are emerging. So in the Puranas, they are being termed as Andhras. So in terms of art and religion, Satavahana phase was important. Now, so what has been done here? A map has been drawn, and this is a quite decent map. Yes, it's a quite decent map, and this map ultimately showing the range of the Satavahana Empire in the Deccan, and also the important were the capitals of Satavahan. That is, one is Amravati and one is the Pathan or the Prashasthan. Yes, the major city and the capital. Now, so directly jumping to the keyword art. Yes, so art. So what type of arts? So here the numismatic art. Yes, that means your coins. So they are the first native rulers to have portrait coins. Yes, very important point. That means the portrait coins were first issued by the Satavahans, the first native rulers. The coins were die struck, the quality, and casted. The portrait coins had Dravidian language as well as Brahmi script. Yes, so language used. So Dravidian as well as Brahmi script. Now they contained images of animals and symbols such as chakra, swastika, nandipala, and lotus. Yes, so that means what they represented. So everything is coming in a proper sequence. So art, what type of art? Numismatic art. Coins, what type? Portrait type, quality, language, and what they represented. Proper sequence. Now, there were punchmark coins too, and also of different shapes, including square and rectangle. So one of the way of what visualizing or assessing or studying the art of Satvana is through the coins. Next comes the art in the form of architecture. So prominent architecture was the rock cut chaityas and viharas. Stupas were built there at Amravati and Nagar Junakonda, and they are depictions of life of Buddha. And even earliest Brahminical brick temples were constructed during this period. So again, now art in the form of architecture representing different religions. Now, the religion overall, what were their inclinations? Satvana's inclination towards religion. The Satvanas claimed to be Brahmins and worshipped Vaishnava gods like Krishna and Vasudeva. Now, they were tolerant towards other religions. Example, Mahayana Buddhism flourished, and donation to monks by the states were also found to have been done. That means grants, yes, to the religious institutions. And they also conducted Vedic sacrifices like Ashwamedha and Rajasuya Yajna. So that means they were, yes, they were inclined in both ways, yes, that means Brahminical as well as Buddhist. So they were inclusive in nature. And the Satvana rule marked an important period. Conclusion, for the Brahminical religion and heterodox religions that existed there in the Deccan. The material culture that developed was reflective in the art and religious activities under the Satvanas. So that means this becomes a conclusion. So that means it is comprising of various features of a good answer. Yes. So it has got an introduction, it has got a diagram, it has got a proper sequence, sticking to the keywords, okay, and also a conclusion. Yes. So that means this is a high standard answer. Let's see next. Now, this is a 250 word answer. The age of Sakas, Kushanas and Satvahanas was the most flourishing period in the history of crafts and commerce in ancient India. Discuss. So here we are talking about the age. So age of Sakas, one of the dynasties, Kushanas and Satvahanas. Most flourishing period in the history of crafts, yes, crafts and commerce. So now we are going to talk about the three major dynasties and their role on what craft and commerce in their time period. So first of all, let us connect all these Sakas, Kushanas and Satvahanas. So in the post-Mauryan era, from 200 BCE to 250 CE, is Common Era, three prosperous empires arose in India: Sakas, Kushanas and Satvahanas. Their duration is marked by the growth in art, crafts and commerce. So now the sources. So books like Mahavastu, Milimpana, and this is Garland of Madurai. Yes, maybe I have not taught this Garland of Madurai, but Mahavastu and Milimpana was there in our what content. Give an idea about the artisans and the economy of the time. That means also mentioning the sources. Yes. So if there is a possible sources about any dynasty, always mention them. Always mention the source. Now again a diagram. Again a diagram. So representing what the Kushanas, the Sakas and the Satvahanas and the major centers: Broch, Supara, Muziris, Tamralipti and Arikamedu. These are the ports. Now, so crafts during the time. So for hence directly come to the keyword crafts. So metal work was the major craft. Telangana region was important for iron work. Now cloth making and silk weaving flourished. Mathura manufactured shatak, a special cloth. So Mathura under Kushanas. Mathura under Kushanas. Now dyeing of cloth was prominent. A dyeing vat was discovered from Uraya. Now bead cutting and shell industry thrived. So Indian Indian ivories have been found in Afghanistan. So here there are what various points to be written. So hence more reliance on the bullet points. So as there are more points to be written, so hence the things to be covered in bullet points. Now similarly, art of glass blowing reached India. So that came from outside, the art of glass blowing. And coin minting flourished. Satavahana issued largest number of coins. Now similarly, commerce during the time. Significant feature of this period was thriving trade with the Roman Empire. India exported spices, muslin, pearls, ivory, iron goods, and in turn got wine, pottery, lead were imported. Yes. So export and import. With whom? The Roman Empire. Silk was routed through Western India from China after Parthian rule was established. Land routes such as Uttarpat and the route from Takshila to Mathura. So what can also be done? Uttarpat and route from Takshila to Mathura, a map can be shown. A small map can be shown here. A small map can be shown here. Now similarly, important ports on west were the Muziris, Broch, Sopara, and these ports have already been shown in the previous map, yes, in the answer. Now the thriving trade and commerce of the period led to the rapid urbanization of the port cities and the manufacturing centers. But by the end of the Satavahana phase, Rome had banned trade with India to stop drain of its wealth. This led to the eventual demise of this flourishing era by 3rd century CE. So in this answer, there is a way forward also. Okay, that means during the time period of Sakas, Satavahanas and the Kushanas, the trade blossomed with the Roman Empire. But as there was a trade surplus in the favor of India, so that means there is a huge influx of gold in India, which led to the deficit there in the Roman Empire. So gradually what happened? So Romans stopped trading with the Indians for a certain time period. So after this time period, there was a general decline of trade with the Roman Empire. So this is a way forward. I hope this is very clear. This is the way, the answers to be written. Answers to be written. So today I've covered what 2 answers. Yes, today 2 answers. So tomorrow we will be covering what in half an hour at least 3 to 4 answers. 3 to 4 answers. So this was generally done for all of you again as a reminder how to shape a good answer. And on daily basis, I will be picking up the best answer from different set of students and will be sharing with all the students. Okay, so the PDF will be shared tomorrow. Okay, and okay, and the link also you can also download the PDF. So I will also share the link also. Clear? So so thank you. So let's resume. Yes, our polity. Okay, polity. Now again a reminder, the answers they have been written here. The content have majorly been deriving from the classes that we are doing, yes, the Achieve Revision classes. So have confidence what you are doing in the classes are more than enough in terms of what achieving a good rank in UPSC. Yeah. So be motivated. Parul, your answer also becoming better. I have seen. Okay. So we're discussing maybe in a day or two, maybe tomorrow. Yes, your Parul answer we will taking up. Thank you.